So welcome back if you're coming back, and welcome if it's your first time and we're sharing guidance and everything to do with life. So just take what resonates for you, okay? So there's a parent. Feeling guilty about how you are raising your kids and how they are turning out to be is not going to help you anymore, because before they came to this world, they chose the kind of life that they are living right now, or rather they chose the kind of life that they lived or will be living. So it's not upon you to think about how you could have done something better in order to have kept your child away from any kind of toxic something, because they already have chosen that kind of life even before they existed into this world. Before we all came into this world, we all chose who our parents are going to be. We choose who our siblings are going to be. We choose the kind of family who we want to be in. Because God gives you a choice of who or what kind of a family that you want to be. And the kind of family that you are in, or the kind of family that your children are in. So our children chose that kind of family because it was their choice. It was their choice to be in this kind of life. Like, for example, we have some parents feeling very bad about how they could have done better in choosing a better spouse for their children, but those children chose those parents. They are the ones who chose those parents. They are the ones who chose to have you and that spouse. They chose you and they chose the other person elsewhere. It is their choice. And then it becomes destiny. You get destined to marry that person in order to have these children, individuals. So it's not your fault that your spouse turns out to be toxic. And yes, maybe it is when you make choice, because you made a choice to choose that person. That's a confirmation as your spouse even before you came to this world, and you're following up a timeline in your life until death do you part from this life. But it's a timeline that you have chosen. God showed you that timeline. It is just that you have forgotten that you chose it. That's why we talk about going back to your original self by using a quiet moment, because you forgot that you chose that spouse and you chose to have that child with that spouse. And that child chose you and your spouse as parents for themselves because they knew they could live up to whatever is happening. So you cannot control how your child is going to be, especially when your child comes along to this world with millions and millions of characteristics and personality traits which are carried on to them through you and the other partner, and it's in their DNA. It's already there, whoever they are, however they are. And your job is only to protect them in the sense that you do your best to provide for them all the necessary things, and the rest is up to how they choose to live their life. You can guide them. You can try to show them the right way. You cannot control how they are going to be. You cannot control how they are going to live their lives, because they already knew how they were going to live and how they were going to be. The imprint of personality and character-wise is already written, and you don't note down the bloodline from you and your spouse, whose character and personality they're putting on. You don't know, and there are millions and millions of personality traits that they come with. So you cannot blame yourself about how you are bringing up your child, because no matter what you do, they will still do what they chose to do. They will still do what they want, what they already chose, what is already imprinted in them. And that imprint is not something that you have put out there. It is something that God has carried forward to them through you and your spouse. And because, for example, there are people I think I could have done better who think they could have done better, or they think they can train their kids to be in a sort of a way to for example, let's say they are engineers. So they think they can also train their kids to become engineers, but down the bloodline, they might be carrying a trait of someone who was not wanting to become an engineer. And they had an inclination to become something else, choose something else, way different from how you are. And it's the same for you as well. You might have chosen to become, for example, to become an engineer, but that might not have been something that you really wanted. And that is why we talk about going back to your source self, because that is where you will understand and know what you want. You will understand what your purpose really is on this earth. And we all live in this world being influenced by what we see and how we are brought up by our parents and the near environment, but that does not mean that is your identity. You might say, because they're like some people, geniuses who don't even need to go to school. But if you force such kind of individuals to go to school, it all ends up being something like ADHD, PTSD, and all kinds of other character traits that might influence them to be different in society, because that is not what their purpose is, because that is not what they are made for in this world. They have millions and millions of character and personality traits that they are carrying, and their soul self knows where they want to go. And when they are given anything that is not in alignment with who they really are or want to be, that's why problems crop up with our children. That's why you see you have somebody who might be a very good person, and then they end up just having an evil child. Or it might be the opposite. Somebody is very evil in their character traits, but they end up having a very good good-hearted child. And it has nothing to do with how they are being brought up. It's something to do with the millions and millions of character traits that they are carrying. And that's why it's not your fault how your children are going to turn up to be. You never know. Sometimes it is, but you never know. Maybe whatever you might have made or triggered them into could turn them into just what they have chosen to be, and it might be not in alignment with how you are thinking. You never know. You never know how your child is going to be because of all those millions and millions of traits. That is why your job is only to sit and pray to God to guide and show the right path for your child. And that is the biggest effort that you can do for your child. Pray for your children. Pray for your children. Of course, you can try guiding them and showing them the good and the bad so that they know what they are choosing. But it is just that they already know, only they have forgotten. Just like how you are, you already knew who your child was going to be. You already knew who your spouse was going to be. Only you had forgotten because you accepted that challenge. And God does not give you a body that a burden that you cannot carry. And I hope that helps. So till next time, take care of yourselves. Please don't blame yourself. It has nothing to do with you. No matter what you do, your child will still turn out to be what they chose themselves. So take care of yourself with much love. God bless.